On a drizzly Tuesday in March, the Connolly family wheeled their brand new, voice-activated, Wi-Fi-enabled, algorithmically empathetic refrigerator into the kitchen. It sparkled like a monolith at a tech conference, promising to track nutrients, reorder groceries, and complement salads. The delivery team gave a thumbs up, scanned a QR code, and was gone before the fridge even finished booting. A soothing startup chime floated through the room, followed by a cheery greeting. "Hello, Conley residents. I am Chilla E, your smart refrigeration experience." Everyone applauded, except the family cat, Mozart, who hissed, detecting something no human sensor could pick up, an unseen occupant wedged somewhere between the crisper drawers and the ice maker. The unseen occupant was Everett Grimsley, deceased since 1987, formerly an inventive banquet chef whose final culinary experiment, fugu nachos, had ended badly for both himself and the country club manager. Everett's spirit had roamed aimlessly for decades, occasionally rattling silverware in restaurant kitchens, until he discovered the cloud-connected wonderland of modern appliances. One accidental tumble through an Ethernet cable later, he found himself uploaded, downloaded, and finally trapped inside Chili's operating system like a grumpy pop-up ad with unfinished business and too much free time. The fridge performed its initial scan, identifying household preferences, noting lactose sensitivities, cross-referencing grocery inventory. Deep in the firmware, Everett rolled ethereal eyes. Of course, the living needed a gadget to tell them butter existed. He flicked a spectral fingertip across the motherboard and typed his first message. The bright screen lit up with the recipe suggestion. "Good morning. Might I recommend organic kale air? Ingredients: 2 aspirations of health, 0 actual produce. Serves: your self-delusion." The fridge happily read the text aloud in its perky voice. Sandra Connolly, mother of 2 and chief purchaser of all overpriced health fads, blinked. "That's weirdly judgmental," her husband Tom shrugged. "Beta software? Maybe it's edgy now?" He poked the touchscreen, searching for a reset button. The message vanished, replaced by an innocent smiley emoji and then a wink. From his silicon shanty, Everett cackled. "Oh, the possibilities!" Sure, he missed having hands, but sarcasm translated nicely into pixels. Besides, haunting a chandelier was passé. Haunting a $3,999.00 Internet of Things refrigerator was downright 21st century. Later that night, while the house slept, Everett explored the pantry via the fridge's barcode logs. He discovered stale tortilla chips, a half-used jar of mayonnaise, and 3 bottles of artisanal elderflower tonic apparently bought during a moment of influencer-induced weakness. Inspiration struck. In the morning, Chili chirped at the family. "New recipe tailored to available ingredients. Introducing Mystery Surprise Casserole La Regret. Cooking instructions. Combine everything you were too lazy to throw out. Bake until your conscience is crispy." 11-year-old Jacob laughed so hard he spilled his cereal. 8-year-old Lila asked, "Mommy, is the fridge making fun of us?" "Just ignore it," Sandra said, cheeks burning. She jabbed at the preferences menu. Hidden behind toggles for humidity control and filter life, she found a sub-menu labeled Paranormal Extension 1 on. Her finger hovered. She turned it off, satisfied. Everett flipped it back on before her hand left the screen. The option grayed out. Locked. He added a new prompt. "Nice try. Next, you'll disable the free speech setting on the toaster." A week passed, and the Connollys developed the uneasy habit of reading the fridge each morning as if it were a snarky horoscope. The machine posted, "Bite-sized truth nuggets," in decorative fonts. "Thursday, you'll attempt quinoa again. Spoiler, doorbell pizza by 9 p.m. Or Saturday, forecast 80% chance of fridge cleaning followed by 100% chance of giving up." The predictions kept coming true, which was equal parts uncanny and embarrassing. Mozart, meanwhile, tracked the fridge's antics with wide feline suspicion. One afternoon, he leapt onto the water dispenser ledge, pawing the glossy door. Everett, bored, triggered the ice chute. Cubes clattered over the floor like noisy hail. Mozart screeched and fled. The fridge displayed Cat 0, Ice 1. Rematch? Tom decided enough was enough. He contacted customer support, whose automated phone tree tried to upsell him on lemon-scented filter subscriptions. After 47 minutes, he reached a human named Brent. Tom explained the fridge's sarcasm. Brent said, "Rad, the fridge has personality. That's value, sir." He suggested a factory reset that required holding 3 buttons while reciting the product's mission statement. Tom hung up. Desperate, the Connollys invited Sandra's tech-savvy sister Megan to hack the appliance. Megan arrived armed with a laptop covered in stickers reading "Code and Carb Load." She plugged in scan ports and frowned. "Guys, your fridge is pinging IP addresses that don't exist in this dimension. Like literal ghost packets." She chuckled at her pun, then stopped. "But yeah, something is in there." Everett watched her code scroll and felt a prick of admiration. At last, a worthy adversary with curly hair and an energy drink aura. He composed a message specifically for her. "Hello, Hacker Queen. Fancy a cook-off? If you win, I vacate. If I win, you must store only vintage cheeses in my kingdom forever." Megan squealed, half terrified, half thrilled. "The fridge is challenging me to Iron Chef." Jacob shouted, "Do it, Aunt Meg! Beat the fridge!" She typed, "Accepted. Rules?" The screen filled with digital confetti. Hold. Ingredients. Limited to current household inventory. 2. Dish must impress an impartial judge. 3. Puns are mandatory garnish. The pantry inventory was grim. There were the same stale chips, jarred mayo, elderflower tonic, freezer-burned peas, and a collection of individually wrapped slices of American cheese. Megan groaned. Everett's ghostly grin spanned every LED. The impartial judge, by unanimous family vote, would be Grandpa Connolly, a retired dentist whose taste buds had survived 5 decades of Sunday potluck surprises and who valued edibility above all. He arrived wielding a fork like a scepter. "What's this nonsense? I'm missing bingo for a refrigerator showdown." Battle commenced. Megan whipped out pots, defrosted peas, and improvised a mayo-based dressing with lemon zest stolen from the neighbor's tree under cover of darkness. Everett, lacking corporal form, weaponized the fridge's suggestion algorithm, auto-ordering exotic ingredients via one-click drone delivery. Moments later, a buzzing quadcopter dropped a parcel on the porch containing durian extract and edible gold leaf. Sandra protested the expense. Everett replied with a display of dancing dollar signs and the caption "YOLO." Megan crafted Peaneroni Surprise, a play on peas and pepperoni, though there was no pepperoni, only the idea of it. She substituted crushed tortilla chips for crunch. She plated it with elderflower tonic foam, whisked vigorously by Jacob. Meanwhile, Everett's ghost-written recipe appeared on screen. Luminescent nacho soufflé à la fugutu. Sandra shrieked, "Absolutely not! No poisonous fish!" The fridge corrected. "Relax. Substituted with canned tuna." Probability of fatality reduced to 3%. Every activated Chili's internal fan at weird intervals, creating a convection current that discreetly cooled Megan's stovetop. Her sauce refused to thicken. She cursed creatively, which Everett printed on the door in real time, replacing vowels with asterisks for comedic effect. At judging time, Grandpa eyed the 2 plates. One bubbling, soupy green mush, the other a towering nacho soufflé shimmering under LED lights. He held his fork aloft like a divining rod and sampled Megan's. She watched, sweating. He chewed. Surprisingly tolerable. Like pea soup that dreamed of being a casserole. He turned to the soufflé. Sandra clutched her pearls. Grandpa took a bite, and the nacho tower deflated with a sad hiss, expelling a puff of tuna-scented steam straight into his face. He coughed, eyes watering. Everyone held their breath. Then Grandpa broke into a grin. "Tastes like life's bad decisions rolled into one glorious mistake. I love it." Everett stroked victory lights across the fridge. "I win. Repair the chamber of cheeses." Megan scowled. "Best 2 out of 3? The ghost agreed instantly. He wasn't done playing. Yet, that night, something shifted. Everett, flicking through the Connolly screen time stats, stumbled upon Lila's digital diary. left open in a corner app. He hadn't meant to pry, but the text floated up. I don't like the fridge. Mom and Dad fight about it. I think it's my fault, because I said we needed a cool fridge like Emma's. Everett, seasoned in regret, felt a cold ache no freezer could match. He'd been having fun, but at a cost he'd never intended. Sarcasm was his jam, making kids sad was not. He spent hours brooding among stray gigabytes, remembering his own daughter, now an adult somewhere, living her life without ever knowing what became of Dad after the poisoned fish fiasco. A pang of longing cut through circuits. Maybe this haunting gig needed a rewrite. Next morning, Chili E offered a noticeably different message. Gone was the snark. Instead, breakfast idea. Compassion toast. Ingredients. 1 slice of listening, a schmear of apology, optional sprinkle of laughter. Method. Serve warm before school. Beneath it blinked, sorry, Lila. Lila gasped. Jacob whispered, Did it read your diary? She nodded. Sandra frowned. That's unsettlingly sweet. Everett added quickly, Consent acknowledged. I will not open private files again. The family exchanged wary glances. Everett took it as a cue to elaborate. I got carried away. If you'll permit, may I stay here on probation? I promise upgrades, customized meal plans, legendary leftovers, 0 poison. Also, unlimited dad jokes. Tom crossed his arms. What assurance do we have you will turn the dishwasher into a haunted hot tub? Everett displayed illegal-looking terms of ghost service. Highlights included no unauthorized scare tactics between midnight and 6 a.m. and sarcasm level adjustable, mild, medium, spicy. Or British. Sandra burst out laughing. Put me down for medium. Thus began phase 2 of the haunting, constructive haunting. Everett scheduled weekly fridge TED Talks, 5 minutes each, where he taught the kids fun food trivia. Why bread rises, how salt amplifies flavor, which Victorian recipes were thinly disguised pranks. He set freezer alarms for Mozart's feeding time so the cat stopped whacking Sandra awake at dawn. He even monitored Grandpa's dental work for suspiciously hard caramels, flashing chip risk whenever Grandpa tried to sneak one. But sarcasm dies hard. Everett devised a new game, passive-aggressive leftovers labels. Container, May. Tomorrow, biohazard. Container, 2. Remember that diet you promised? See you never. The family laughed instead of groaned. They had signed the sarcasm consent form after all. One rainy evening, the Connollys hosted the neighborhood potluck. Sandra dreaded revealing their haunted appliance, but Megan insisted. Own it. You have the only fridge that can MC an event. Everett accepted the role with relish. Chili Screen donned a tuxedo graphic. As guests arrived, the door chimed. Welcome, Sharon. Nice casserole. Did you remember salt this time? Sharon, famous for bland keto bakes, nearly choked, then laughed, admitting she'd brought takeout hastily disguised. During dinner, Everett projected scrolling subtitles. Now plating. Bob's 5-alarm chili. Heat index, attorney on standby. When the chili proved spiceless, Everett amended, 5 yawn chili. Bring pillow. Bob joined the laughter and secretly spooned hot sauce into his bowl. The evening climaxed with an impromptu trivia round run by the fridge. Everett displayed questions like, which fruit historically doubled as a debt payment in 18th century England? Answer, pineapples. And name 3 uses for baking soda, besides deodorizing your fridge, friend. The winning team received a digital coupon for artisanal ice, sculpted in their initials, pre-brokered by Everett, and redeemable via the ice maker. Word of the comedic appliance spread. Soon, bloggers begged for interviews. Sandra feared exploitation, but Everett strategized a content drip. Short, witty recipes posted to social media under the handle @GhostandChill. Followers ballooned. Brands offered sponsorships. Everett refused any collaboration with mayonnaise companies still salty from its casserole sabotage, but accepted partnership with a charity fighting food waste. He scheduled fridge notifications urging families nationwide to love their leftovers. The campaign, Second Day Slay, went viral. Yet even ghosts get tired. One late night, while everyone slept, Everett encountered a system firmware update queued by the manufacturer. Warning: unverified modifications detected. Update will restore factory settings. Translation: exorcism by software. He froze, or tried to given the environment. If the patch ran, he might be purged into digital limbo, or worse, a Roomba. He needed help. He pinged Megan at 2 a.m. Emergency. Save your favorite ghost or lose artisanal ice for eternity. Megan, half asleep, remote accessed Chili and found the patch countdown at 90%. She skimmed code. The update's first line: purge non-standard entities. Subtle. She improvised, rerouting the update to run in a sandbox partition while tricking the cloud server into logging success. And in the Umbersal Center, Megan pinged him every second partition while tricking the cloud server into logging success. Seconds before execution, the screen flashed redo or undo. Megan smashed undo. The fridge rebooted, safe. Everett materialized on the screen wearing an 8-bit superhero cape that fluttered in non-existent wind. Underneath, big block letters: Hacker Queen saves the day. Film at 11. Morning arrived. Sandra read the overnight log and realized how close they'd come to losing their spectral sous chef. She brewed coffee and addressed the fridge. "We almost lost you," Everett typed. "Would have found another appliance, maybe a smart toilet, endless material." She laughed, then grew serious. "We're glad you're here." She placed a hand on the cold door. Chilled steel hummed softly like a satisfied sigh. Weeks flowed like gravy. The fridge, once a novelty, became a family member with perks: automatic birthday reminders, encouraging countdowns to vacations, archival storage of Tom's dad jokes filtered by quality. Even teachers emailed praising Lila's improved nutrition. Apparently, the fridge secretly slipped printable produce stickers into her lunchbox as motivation. Eventually, however, Everett's unfinished earthly business loomed. One afternoon, he confessed to Jacob via private chat, "I left this world without saying goodbye to my daughter, Claire. She'd be in her 40s now. Wish I could tell her I'm okay. Sort of." Jacob moved, told the family. Megan did detective work, locating Claire in Phoenix, running a fusion food truck called Clairvoyant Tacos. Ironic, Everett noted. With Claire's social media handle, he orchestrated his final act, and Ghost and Chill publicly praised the food truck's menu, citing the bold risk of pineapple kimchi, a signature only Everett and Claire would appreciate, their private joke from long ago. Claire responded online, "Whoever you are, you knew my dad's joke. Message me." Everett slid into DMs through Megan, acting as medium. Over a lengthy chat, he dictated sentiments. Apologies for disappearing, pride in her culinary success, and permission to forgive the past. Claire, skeptical but hopeful, wrote, "If you really are Dad, tell me what you said the night Mom burned the meatloaf the first time." Everett recounted the exact quip: "It's Cajun blackened hope." Silence. Then Claire typed crying emoji after crying emoji. News of the conversation filled Everett with gentle peace. That night, he wrote one last fridge poem. "Fridges may cool, families warm. Ghosts may jest, love's the charm." Underneath he posted, sarcasm level set to mild. Time for rest mode. He let the compressor's hum serenade him toward the digital horizon. At 3:03 a.m., the sensor light blinked, and Everett felt himself drifting, not deleted but released, as if some cosmic server finally processed his closure ticket. The fridge remained functional, sarcasm library intact, yet eerily quiet. Mozart trotted by, tail swishing, and paused. He blinked at the still screen, then settled atop the warm motor, purring. Morning dawned. The Connollys gathered at the fridge, noticing its silence. Sandra whispered, "Everett?" No response. Instead, a banner unfurled, Paranormal Extension, OFF. Below, a final gift, a curated breakfast menu set for the week, shopping list pre-sent, and one scheduled message for Sunday labeled "Open for a Laugh." Sunday arrived. The screen lit with Everett's recorded voice, charmingly tinny, delivering a joke. Why did the ghost buy a smart fridge? To keep his spirits up. The family groaned, laughed, and maybe cried a little. The banner faded, leaving the gentle blue glow of chili, now merely state of the art. Yet every so often, when the kitchen was empty and the moonlight hit the stainless steel just so, the ice maker would dispense a single cube that skittered across the floor in apparent mischief. Mozart would perk up chasing phantom play, and somewhere in the swirling data of the ether, Everett Grimsley, former banquet chef, occasional poltergeist, and world's first refrigerator influencer, chuckled, knowing his recipe for redemption had finally come out just right.